The most recent election of 2016 didn't turn out the way most Americans wanted it to, but yet the nation of America found themselves with the president the majority of Americans didn't want, and you can blame the Electoral College on that. In this speech, I'll be going over the current issues of the Electoral College, why it should be abolished, and why it's so anti-democratic. As a college student, I have been researching the topic of the pros and cons, and pros and cons of the Electoral College. And I found that the Electoral College is more of a burden than a good and helpful system. So the Electoral College restricts the people's voice and has led to a thwart in the republic we live in. So now that we know the underlying problem, let's get down to the belly of the beast. So the contest between two candidates has affected everybody, and a lot of people will know the opponent's beliefs and who they want to vote for based on what party they want to be in. But your voice doesn't matter unless if you're in a battleground state. So this is a major problem because if you're not in a battleground state, it's basically belittling your choices and your beliefs and saying that you don't have a word in what or who the president is and what will be pushed into our new rules and new laws in our society. So the Electoral College also has a big flaw that has never been fixed since it's been created, and that's how it has faithless or what you would call rogue electors. And these electors are people who fail to vote for who they pledged for. So this potentially can be an extreme problem because it can misrepresent the wishes of the public. Minorities also have greatly have been affected by the flawed system, for they aren't positioned well enough in their districts to determine how the president will be elected. And even though they are the majority in the district, they may be the minority in a county, so overall they can't really benefit from the system. This can be blamed on gerrymandering, which is when a boundary is manipulated to favor a party or class. So now that we know the root of the problem, which is half the battle, let's get into what we can do as a society to fix it. To prevent faithless and rogue voters from misrepresenting your vote, these voters are not being punished for their consequences. So you should call your state legislature to pass the Uniform Faithful Presidential Electors Act. The Uniform Faithful Presidential Electors Act makes electors pledge to vote for a certain candidate, and if they break that pledge, they are replaced. Contacting the state legislature is such an important way to get through the government. By contacting the state legislature of your state, you can also convince them to pass the national popular vote. The national popular vote is when a state pledges to give all of its electoral votes to the winner of the popular vote. But this won't go through unless we have all 270 votes. So by calling your state legislature, which is a major important issue, we could allow us to get the electoral votes we need to make national popular vote a thing. Voting for a state representative or senator who aligns with your beliefs will also help your voice be heard. You're most likely to get your beliefs passed on through the government if your senator and state representative has the same goals and beliefs as you. Those will in turn push your voice to the other United States senators. The last way to get your voice heard is organizing a peaceful protest. And organizing a peaceful protest, I cannot make emphasis much more, but anyways, so practicing your First Amendment has allowed other activists before you to get their voice heard. And if you organize a peaceful protest, this will allow your state to hear your personal problems and make them known to the public. So helping out in any means possible is the best thing you can do, and is more powerful than sitting down and complaining about your problems at hand. So if we don't change the system we use to elect a president, then a president that is unfit to run out for our nation can represent the nation unprofessionally. The Electoral College makes sure that even if a person wins by 1 million votes but loses the Electoral College, then they can't and won't win, which is undemocratic because it refuses to care about what the people want. Another tragedy that may occur is that the presidential candidates may not care about the needs of safe states. If they know that the state won't be lost because it's more right or left, they probably won't care about that state's problems because it really doesn't have to do anything to keep that state happy. So after learning the horrifying problems that could occur, we must take action. Even though the Electoral College may seem to be hard to get rid of and the only way to solve it is probably overthrowing the government, we can't give up as a country to make our voice be heard. Countless countless of elections that people vote on has been altered and taken for granted, but not for long. If we want to see change, if we want to see change we can't see where Americans come from. But where it is going, we can only look to the future for solutions and not from our past mistakes. I believe that our group, a unity, and as a community, we can rally and see a change in our everyday life. We can finally have a direct voice in government, and we can finally put the past behind us and put our old dying traditions to rest. If one stands, we should all stand for it all. To live for a better tomorrow, to live for a better life, and finally get what we deserve, and that's a president who actually cares. The Electoral College may have been useful when it started, but it's no longer needed. Rather than helping us, it just restricts the people's values. If we truly want a voice in our government, the best way is to elect a president without the Electoral College. For the Electoral College is the best way to elect a president. Without the Electoral College, we would be much happier in our everyday life because classes and parties such as the independent class can finally put an influence on our daily views. So, the Electoral College may have been useful when it started, but just like how Ellen DeGeneres said, I'm not an activist, I don't look for controversy, I'm not a political person, but I'm a person with compassion. I care compassionately about equal rights, I care about human rights. So if we all stand together, we can finally make our compassionate right to vote care and matter.